Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? How's life in your world? Life is really, really good here. Today I had a meeting in with a school, not a school district, the original school district that I wrote my software for. If you want to know more about the software, I will put a link to the playlist down below where I discuss it. Essentially, I wrote some software for a school district, and it's become bigger than that school district, and now other people are using it, and it's good. So I rolled out a whole bunch of changes last week, like big changes that really improved the way everything works and helped hopefully make it easier. That's always subjective, I guess, but so I needed to go back and train some staff members in the original county that had this software, because the software between me leaving my old company and now has grown by leaps and bounds. Now that I have the time and energy to really put into it, it's really gotten better. So I needed to show them all that stuff. And so the point of this story is, on the today on my way home from work, I picked Keighley up, and she asked me how the meeting went, which I thought was really cool. You know, she was concerned about it. And then she asked me, if the teachers liked using my software. And I said, I'm not really sure that they are using it yet. Like, administration is using it. It will be, more usable later. The original county that we implemented this in was kind of like, as a stopgap, they had a staff member do most of the work, but the idea is that the teachers can do it themselves and put their own stuff in and check their own data. But they're not currently in that county. They're not using it that way yet. They will. We'll get them there. But so I told her that, and she said, she's about to ask me a question. She goes, never mind, that was a stupid question. I'm like, honey, there's no stupid questions. What's your question? And she said, well, is it done? And she thought it was a stupid question because to her, done means people are using it. Is it finished? And my answer to her was, honey, that's not a stupid question. No, it's not done. And she's like, what? And she's like, but people are using it. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's done. Like, it'll never be done. And it really made me stop and think about, when will this software be done? There's been multiple points along the way where I thought, okay, that's it. Like, it doesn't need to be anything more than that. But as more users sign in, as more data gets added, it becomes more and more obvious that this simplicity that I baked into it from the beginning starts to become cumbersome, and it starts to need to be a little bit more refined. And so then I tweak a couple things here, tweak a couple things there, and that's perpetual. Like, I don't think that I'll ever stop tweaking it. Like, done is when people stop using it. I think that's the only time I could officially say that this piece of software will not be actively worked on. And it made me really stop and think about a lot of the things that we do, that we create, that, I've made furniture, I've made signs, I've made all kinds of things, and when you're done with it, it's done. Like, that's it. That's all there is. You could go back and tweak it. You could go back and maybe use some design flaws as springboards to update the design and recreate it. But in the real world, we don't generally do a lot of that. Once you create something, once I make a sign, that's it. It's done, and it just goes in the pile of things that I've done, and it never really gets touched again. But when it comes to something like software, because it's soft, because it's malleable, it'll never be done. It'll never be finished. There will always be something to tweak or add or do. And I have a very large list of things I would like to do to it. Things that maybe someday will get implemented when I have the time to do it. And my focus isn't on other projects, but other projects have focus right now, and those other projects need to be done, but they'll never be done. Like, that's the thing. Like, none of this will ever get done. And that's just the realization of this type of job, this creative endeavor where you're constantly in touch with the product. And, in my case, we don't use it at work. But I test, I'm my own QA guy, so I do all my own testing. And so I use it daily to make sure that it works, and I see flaws, and so I just have a list. This needs fixed, this needs fixed, this needs fixed, Even little things, like today I fixed some spacing on some letters that wasn't quite right. But, it was interesting to hear her thought. Like, is it done? No, honey, it's not done. It's never going to be done. Maybe someday. But when do you decide when done is? Like, when do you walk away from it and go, all right, that's the completed project right there? Because I don't know that I have an answer for that, for most things that I do. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. And that's all I have for today. So thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being my bestest friends. I just realized with this red shirt on, looking at this camera, it looks like Hal from Space Odyssey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being my best friends, and I will see you tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from urbannextillinois.edu. Which U.S. president banned Christmas trees from the White House? President Coolidge started the National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony on the White House lawn in 1923. Teddy Roosevelt banned the Christmas tree from the White House for environmental reasons.